Welcome! We are excited to share information about the Verona area Pre-K program. Pre-K staff. I am Jennifer Skibba, the Early Learning Coordinator for Verona Area School District. My telephone number is area code 608-712-9697, and our secretary is Amelia McConnell. Her number is area code 608-845-4590. Continuing with our pre-K staff, our central office liaison is Emmett Durchie. He's also the Assistant Superintendent of Pupil Services. He attends advisory council meetings and also presents policy and information to the Board of Education. Our pre-K interventionalist and psychologist is Elizabeth Kramer. She works with children and collects academic and social emotional data to determine the needs of staff and students. And our early childhood special education coordinator is Sarah Boatman. She oversees special education services for students ages 3 through 5. The pre-K office is located at Country View Elementary School, which is located at 710 Lone Pine Way, Verona, Wisconsin. It is best to contact us in advance. Many times there is no one in the pre-K office, so you can call 608-845-4590, or you can call Jennifer Skibba at area code 608-712-9697. Many people ask, what is pre-K? So pre-K is not kindergarten. It is play-based, and it's developmentally appropriate. A group of approximately 30 community members, district-wide staff, and child care and preschool administrators and teachers met and really talked about what pre-K looks like in the Verona Area School District. With all of that input, the pre-K program began about 10 years ago, and we continue to make modifications based on input we get from families and our child care sites. What is a legacy student? A legacy student is a student that currently attends a pre-K site as a preschooler. Those students will be placed first before new students enter. Legacy families need to register and use the same process as new students. The second tier of legacy is if you have had a sibling attend at one of the pre-K sites, but your actual pre-K student that would be starting next year has not. If there is space available, your child will be put on the legacy list to attend and also will be placed with that preference. Sometimes our third part of legacy is when a sibling has attended a site that is no longer participating in the program. Then you need to actually call Jennifer Skibba and we talk about it, what options there are available, and if there's a legacy list that we can put you on that meets the same needs that you had at your past site. You need to contact Jennifer Skibba by March 26th of the year that you're registering for pre-K. Who can participate? Any 4-year-old on or before September 1st. You should live within the Verona Area School District, and this is important. We have no early entrance or early enrollment into pre-K. We do have early entrance into kindergarten if your family is interested, and there is a process for that. There are no 5-year-olds allowed in the program unless the proper paperwork has been done in advance for a child to start pre-K when they are already 5. If your family is interested in having your child be 5 starting pre-K, there is a special questionnaire and articles that you can request from Jennifer Skiba. This process involves meeting with Jennifer Skiba, talking to the teachers if your child currently has teachers, and coming up with the best option that works for your family. We highly encourage consistent attendance in pre-K. It helps the transition from pre-K into kindergarten and learning about routines. What is the cost of pre-K? Pre-K, the 3 hours and 10 minutes, Tuesday through Friday, is tuition free. Preschools and childcares may charge for supplies, snacks, and/or field trips. And preschools and childcares may also let families know what the fees are up front. They have all this information available. You want to make sure that you're asking those questions, and also if you need wrap care, what their fees are. Pre-K frameworks and curriculum. In pre-K, we use 2 frameworks, the Wisconsin Model Early Learning Standards and the Pyramid Model. For curriculum, we use creative curriculum, and we also use Handwriting Without Tears, Yoga for Kids, and Second Step. Creative curriculum is the main curriculum we use in pre-K. It covers the areas of social emotional development, physical development, language development, cognitive development, literacy, math, science, social studies, and the arts. The program offers children the opportunity to learn in an environment that is set up to incorporate many opportunities during the day for intentional teaching. Creative curriculum gives us the ability in the classroom to tailor lessons for individuals, children's needs, and what interests them. Teachers are given multiple resources and training to learn about how to best incorporate creative curriculum into their classroom. The pyramid model is a social emotional framework we use in our child cares and preschools birth to 5. Teachers are trained and children learn about building relationships, program-wide expectations, environments, engagement in transitions, emotional literacy, friendships, anger management and problem solving, and function-based planning. Remember, it's a framework and not a curriculum. All children's needs are addressed in the framework. The pyramid model was designed by the Center on Social Emotional Foundations of Early Learning based on what research tells us. The yellow tier is systems and policies that are put in place at a state and local level. The blue tier is universal instruction. It meets the needs of over 80% of our students. The green tier is additional targeted practices where we're intentionally looking at what a child needs. And the red tier is individualized instruction and intervention. Throughout the process, it's based on communication with families and teachers, looking at what the students' needs are and working together to make everyone successful. Second step is the social emotional curriculum the Verona Area School District uses for students pre-K through 5th grade. The children will meet Teddy and Rosie and learn about their feelings, problem solving, making friends, and much more. Handwriting Without Tears is a hands-on approach to learning the proper pencil grip and letter formation. We begin with uppercase letters and stress proper formation by using manipulatives like roll-a-dough, wet-dry-try, wood pieces, and Stampin' C screens. The children know how to make Matman and draw a self-portrait. Yoga for Kids is a program that we use to help children self-regulate in a positive way. Many teachers use the yoga cards to transition children from one activity to another. Family outreach activities. You see it says 87.5 hours. That's the required amount of time that the Department of Public Instruction expects us to engage families out of pre-K hours. Some centers sponsor activities for their families. Some centers sponsored activities are for all in the community, and some district sponsored activities are for all families in the community. We encourage families to participate in at least 3 events each year. There is not a requirement that a family would do 87.5 hours of extra activities beyond the child's pre-K day, but we'll give you many examples of things that you might like to do as a family out in the upcoming year. These are some examples of family outreach activities. We have a family advisory council. In the past, we've had math night, a literacy night, science night, and recently we've started to have the Verona Area Kids Expo. This year, because of COVID, our activities have not been necessarily at night, but we have offered them in a video format that we have been sending to families that they could watch at a time that works best for them. We've also been offering a collaboration time to talk about those videos, ask questions, and collaborate with other pre-K or other families with young children in their home. This is an example of our family outreach activities on our pre-K website that we currently are offering our pre-K families and VAFI families. We have one called the Child Development Series that really focuses on math, science, literacy, and social emotional. We also have another one that focuses solely on social emotional development in pyramid model practices that has 6 different sessions. And then we have another grouping that is short video clips for families that they can watch with their child and do fun activities at home that are short with materials that most people have right in their home. This is an example of a Child Development Day flyer. Child Development Days is an opportunity for families that have developmental concerns to get your child screened and get more information from a group of district-wide specialists. This information can also be found on our pre-K webpage. We ask that you fill the information out on the webpage under developmental concerns, and someone from the district will contact you and set up an appointment and ask more questions and get you more resources and information. The VAFI Family Advisory Council. Who should be a part of the VAFI Family Advisory Council? Families with children ages birth through 5 that would like an opportunity to serve on a district-wide committee promoting early childhood development in our community. So what do? A monthly meeting for families to discuss and provide feedback on playgroups, pre-K, family outreach, childcare, and child development for our youngest learners. The Family Advisory Council representatives will share information and gather feedback from the Verona and Fitchburg communities. Currently, we meet on the second Thursday of the month via Zoom from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. If you're interested in joining, please reach out to Jennifer Skiba. Members have said that they have a better understanding of what's happening behind the scenes and how decisions are made. They have a better understanding of the needs of the community, and they are able to answer questions and promote events that are happening in VAFI or pre-K. Who are the teachers? The teachers are hired by the pre-K sites. We have state licensed DPI teachers, and typically we have 12 or more children in a classroom. When there's more than 12 children in our classroom, we will see 2 adults. Many times it's a teacher and an assistant teacher or a co-teacher, depending on the site. Those teachers go to monthly trainings and also go to monthly meetings with the district to learn about curriculum, things that are new, and to collaborate. So what time is pre-K? Pre-K has 2 sessions in the morning. We call one an early AM session and then a late AM session. The early AM classes typically begin at 7:50 to 11 o'clock or sometimes 8 to 11:10 depending on transportation. The later AM class begins typically around 8:30 to 11:40, and sometimes we'll see it start at 8:45 to 11:55, again depending on transportation. If there are enough families interested in a PM section, the PM class will be formed, and the times for that will vary depending on what site it will happen at and what time their morning classes are in session. Typically in the past, our PM classes have started around 11:30 and gone to 2:40. Sometimes they've started at 12 and have gone to 3:10. All of this is dependent on transportation, and we typically do not know the exact start time of our sites until later in August. Wraparound services. Most of our pre-K sites have wraparound care before and or after pre-K hours. You're going to want to double check with the pre-K site to determine what their hours are and their availability of wraparound care services. You can find this information also of their hours on our pre-K website under participating sites. Along with that, I want everyone to keep in mind that if your child needs wraparound services, pre-K hours are Tuesday through Friday, 3 hours and 10 minutes a day. Most children are in child care for almost 10 hours a day. Almost all of our programs have guidelines prior to pre-K starting that says a full day is considered anything more than 4 hours. So if you were expecting to see a decrease in your tuition many times, that is not true. Size of classes. So this is all dependent on the licensure of the classroom itself. And so most of our classrooms are licensed for 18 to about 24 students. So depending on the size of the classroom, will determine how many students are in that classroom, and that is worked out between licensing and then the agreement with the site and the district as to how many students are allowed in each of those classrooms. Transportation. Before I begin, I want to share with families that we offer transportation as a service. Some families have signed up for transportation in the past because they thought it would help children transition to the bus in kindergarten. This is not true. We use vans and buses, and we only have pre-K students riding them during the pre-K day. This is much different than the experience your child will get when they start kindergarten. Pre-K is also a great time to have a conversation with your child about their day. If you pick up and or drop off, your child and you will get a glimpse of what their day was like to help that conversation about what their routines at school look like at home. With that said, transportation has had some changes as usual each and every year. Our goal is to minimize the time students are spending on a bus or van. In order to do that, we have strategic guidelines that we follow to help this process. First, transportation will only be provided if a child lives or is cared for at least a quarter mile or more from the pre-K site. Second, families participating in the Spanish pre-K bilingual program will be transported to Pooh Bear Child Care and Preschool district-wide. Your neighborhood zone will be determined by where your child is picked up and dropped off. You should have the same zone for pickup and drop-off for your child for transportation. Families needing transportation services anytime during the year will be limited to picking a pre-K site within your neighborhood zone. Pickup and drop-off will be as close as possible to the residents, but vehicles may not go down cul-de-sacs or dead-end roads. Please keep in mind that these are 4-year-olds, and we want this experience to be as safe and enjoyable as possible. Our goal is to limit their time on the bus. That's why these zones have been made. This is a map of our elementary attendance area zones. We are using this map along with a map of neighborhoods to create shorter routes. The length of the routes are number one complaint each and every year. We have made modifications in the past, but nothing has really helped create routes that all are under an hour. Our goal is to have most routes between 30 to 45 minutes. If you need to find out what zone you're in, we have a special tool for you to use. This is an example of the link that is on the website and the frequently asked questions page for pre-K. We have a special link just for pre-K families, so please make sure that you're using that link to check for your transportation zone. Once you click on the link, you're going to put your address of where your child will be going to and from pre-K in the box at the top. Then your transportation zone will appear in a little box, and it'll have a pin where that transportation would take place. If you have any questions regarding your transportation zone, please reach out to us so that you're able to fill out your registration information accurately. This is talking about the Madison and Verona 6603 agreement. So we have a special agreement with Madison Metropolitan School District, and we share some of those sites. We do not offer open enrollment for pre-K into our district, and so instead we have this agreement, and Madison pays for the Madison students and Verona pays for the Verona students at these sites. The sites that are part of the Verona program that you would register with Verona if you're a Madison resident is Grateful Hearts Child Care and Preschool, Here We Grow Learning Center, La Petite Academy Fitchburg, Little Blessings, and Pooh Bear Child Care and Preschool. The Madison site that families from Verona would register with Madison instead would be Reachdane on Red Arrow Trail. If you have any questions about this, please contact Jennifer Skiba, and she will walk you through the process and how you need to register. Our pre-K program is a community-based program, meaning it happens in our child cares and preschools in our community of Verona and Fitchburg. Our first site is the Caring Center and Verona Montessori House. It is located in Verona. The transportation zones to this site are 34 through 41 and 43 through 45. This site typically has an early morning start time, and they have 3 classrooms. One classroom is the Verona Montessori classroom, which also has the possibility to have an extended day. It also has one pre-K only classroom that meets in the morning, and one other pre-K classroom that has before and after school care. Big Apple Early Learning Academy is located in Verona next to Festival Foods. Their transportation zones are 10 through 15, and their site has an early morning session. They have one classroom that will have pre-K only and children that will have wrap care as well, or extended child care. Here We Grow Learning Center is located in Fitchburg off of 18 and 151 up the hill from Quick Trip. They have no transportation zones, and their classes start typically in the late morning session. They have one and sometimes 2 classrooms depending on how many legacy students they have. They do take some new students each year, but it is all dependent on how many legacy 3-year-olds will be attending the following year. Hometown Preschool is next to Culver's in Verona. The transportation zones are 23, 34 through 38, 42, 43, 53, and 59 through 61. Their start time is typically early morning, and they have one pre-K classroom that has wrap care available before and after school. La Petite Academy Verona is located at the corner of Cross Country and Highway M in Verona. The transportation zones are 6 through 9, 39, 40, 42 through 58, 60, and 62. Typically, their class time starts in early morning, and they have 2 classrooms. One is pre-K only in the morning, and the other one is pre-K in the morning with additional wrap services before and after school. La Petite Academy Fitchburg is located on the corner of Fish Hatchery Road and Lacey Road. The transportation zones are 1 through 5 and 14 through 19. This site has an early morning start time, and they have one classroom that has pre-K morning only students and students that continue there before or after school. Little Blessings Preschool is located on PD west of Highway M. The transportation zones are 46 through 58, 60, and 61. This site typically has a late AM start or later morning start, and they have one classroom that meets in the morning for pre-K only and has some additional but limited wrap services available after school. Grateful Hearts Child Care and Preschool is located in Fitchburg, north of PD and west of Seminole Highway. Its transportation zone is 6 through 9, and typically the classes begin in late morning. They have one classroom that has AM only students along with students that have wraparound care. Once upon a time, childcare is located across from Glacier Edge Elementary. The transportation zones are 19 through 38 and 41. Their class time is early morning. They have 3 classrooms available. They have one pre-K only morning classroom, 1 or 2, depending on the need, pre-K morning classrooms with available before and after school care if needed, and if there is a need for a PM or afternoon session of pre-K, this site is also one of the sites that offers that option. Pooh Bear Child Care and Preschool is south of PD off of Seminole Highway. The transportation zones are 1 through 5, 10 through 13, and 22. The bilingual program at this site is transported district-wide. At this site, they have one Spanish bilingual program that is taught primarily in Spanish, and it is highly recommended that all families that sign up for that program have their home language as Spanish. The time for both of their classes is early mornings. The space available is they have one bilingual classroom that's taught in Spanish that is AM or morning only with no wrap care available. And if there is enough demand, there may also be an afternoon session. They also have an English-speaking pre-K classroom at their site that has pre-K morning students. Then they also have services available for before and after school care in that classroom. St. James Preschool is located on Highway M south of downtown in Verona. Their transportation zones are 20, 21, 24 through 33, 41, and 42. Their class time tends to be later mornings, and they have one classroom available at their site for pre-K that is mornings only. The Goddard School is located off of Highway M by the Lighthouse in Verona. Their transportation zones are 6 through 9, 53 through 56, and 59 through 61. Their start times is late morning, and they have 2 classrooms available with pre-K mornings with wrap care before and after school. YMCA Stoner Prairie Elementary is one of our pre-K sites in an elementary school. It is run by the YMCA of Dane County, and the transportation zones are 1 through 5, 10 through 19, and 22. They have a late morning start and 1 classroom available. That classroom is mornings only. Reachdane, located on 2096 Red Arrow Trail, is an MMSD pre-K or 4K site. If you are interested in attending Reachdane, you should apply with the Madison Metropolitan School District and go to the Reachdane website and fill out an application to make sure that you are eligible for the program. If you have questions, please contact Jennifer Skiba. When does pre-K start? Pre-K will start this fall on September 1st, 2022. We follow the Verona Area School District calendar as closely as possible. If there are weeks that pre-K would only meet one day, or there is an early dismissal of students K-12, there's a possibility that there will be no pre-K on those days. Pre-K open houses. This year, we will have virtual open houses available, and the information will be found on our website starting Saturday, February 5th. You may view the open house videos, and if you have questions, we encourage you to contact the site, ask questions, and if you want to meet in person, you can make individual appointments depending on how the cases of COVID are in our community will be dependent if extra people can walk into sites. The pre-K website. So on the Verona Area School District webpage, you go to our schools and you will find that Verona Area First 5 Years is an option. Under Verona Area First 5 Years, pre-K has its own header. Click on that and you will find all the information regarding upcoming events and pre-K registration. Registration. The first step of registration is pre-registration. Families set up a PowerSchool account and provide documents to Verona Area School District, including legacy students, using the link on the registration website. You will need to provide proof of age and proof of residency. You will see that proof of name and age, you can use a birth certificate, current passport, or immunization records. And for proof of residency, you can use a current lease agreement, a mortgage document, or current utility bill within the last 45 days. Registration. If you do not have internet access, please contact the registration office at 608-845-4360 to discuss alternative methods to submit the required documentation. The registration office hours are by phone call only from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Once you complete step 1, you will find more information and updates on the pre-K registration page. Step 2 is new student registration. This is different than past years. Families will receive an email within 2 days to log into PowerSchool and to complete the new student registration form on PowerSchool. This is not the form that you will pick your site selections. That is later in the registration process. Step 3 of the enrollment process is the enrollment form. Families will be emailed instructions to enroll their child using the pre-K enrollment link less than a week after you submit Part 2. If you want your student to be placed in the first round of placement, Step 1, 2, and 3 needs to be completed by Friday, April 29th of 2022. Students will be placed continuously after the April 29th date of 2022. If you are a legacy family, there is also an expectation that you will have steps 1, 2, and 3 completed by April 29th of 2022. The last step of the registration process is step 4. Welcome to pre-K. Families will receive the pre-K welcome letter, typically in June. There is also a $35 activity fee that will be due. If you have any questions, please contact us. You can call the pre-K office, which is open Tuesday through Friday from 7:45 to 3 by calling Amelia at area code 608-845-4590. Or you're welcome to call me, Jennifer Skiba, and my telephone number is area code 608-712-9697. You can also email me at skibaj@verona.k12.wi.us. I am available typically from 6 a.m. till approximately 8 o'clock at night, and so please call at your convenience. We want to make sure that your questions are answered and that you get the information you need to register your student for pre-K. Thank you for listening to the presentation, and we hope to hear from you soon.